が持てないのはどう考えてもお前らが悪い
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Magical Bro Transformation Podcast. I am your host Nooney, joined by my cornucopia of friends, a decently sized cornucopia. We have a bit more than we did before, but one of us isn't physically here, but he's here in spirit and in computer. I guess I'll start off with him. Mark, say hi to the people.
I'm getting paid for this, right?
Mark, if only. If only. I mean, I'll pay you in love, hugs, and kisses.
Mostly kisses.
Mostly kisses.
That's not enough to get him through the day.
All right, I'll take it.
Mark was supposed to be in the first episode, but due to moving circumstances, he wasn't able to actually get here. But he's here now, and that's all that matters, right?
Sure, it matters.
Yeah, whatever. And another new person that's joining us today is my little pal over here, Juan.
Hello.
Say hi to the people.
Hey, everybody. My name is Juan.
Yeah. And then to my, it doesn't matter since directions don't make sense when you're talking in a podcast. But here's joining me, Mike and Mondo from episode 1.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
And basically, just like episode 1, we just pick an anime, talk about it, see what we all thought about it. We haven't really talked about it any. I don't think have we talked about it at all.
No, we strongly tried to hold everything off until this.
Yeah, I haven't brought it up like at all in the slide. I mean, I think the only thing we ever mentioned together was the thing about the OP, but that was like
The thing about the OP.
yeah, like the song just in general.
Oh, it's a great song.
It's a good song. It was very surprising though. Like the first episode came around and I didn't expect that to be the song. Like I didn't really know what to expect for the song, but the fact that it was what it was surprised me. I like it though.
I kind of feel like it was a little bit unfitting though for what overall the show was about. It was,
I mean, I felt that it worked because of how angry she was on the inside, so it felt like it was fitting for that.
Yeah, because she was a loner, so it fit that song because it sounds like it's a very loner song if you hear the lyrics.
Yeah, so I mean, she was is a very angry.
Yeah,
They were
Yeah,
lyrics,
no.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was a very angry, lonely person, and I was like, well, that's pretty fitting.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, the anime that we decided to watch this time is Watamote, or Watashi ga Motenai no wa Dou Kangaetemo Omaera ga Warui. Or, no matter how I look at it,
Which translates
it's you
to
guys' fault I'm not popular. And it was an anime that I'd already seen before, and I was like, well, I wanted to put this on the list because I'm down to watch it one more time, and I don't think most of you haven't seen it.
I hadn't seen it.
I had seen up to episode 5, and
I think you said you read the manga.
I read
also,
the
right?
manga, and so I mean I already knew about it. Like I've always liked it. I haven't kept up with it though. Like I'm quite a few chapters behind, but I always liked it, and I read ahead of what the anime had put out, so I was already into it, and I decided to go back to it when we used Mondo's fake roulette to decide what the next anime was. Yeah, his disappointingly fake roulette. And
But it sounds so
I
magic.
decided to go ahead and finish it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean,
Overall, I thought it was pretty enjoyable. It was definitely not as bad as the last one we saw, but there was aspects of it to where it was entertaining, and I was like, yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I'm kind of just flowing through all the episodes okay. There wasn't any point where I was definitely like, man, I'm gonna stop. Like this is boring or anything. It was pretty entertaining overall.
I mean, I liked it. I found parts like it was entertaining. It was funny, and then other parts I was like, damn, it's really sad because I went through the same thing. And like it wasn't even more than like, oh, I feel like crying. It was more like, man, I wish I could forget that actually happened. So I could relate to the character in that sense a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, it was really entertaining, and that's what drew me to the manga itself at the beginning. That I could kind of relate to some of the situations, not all of them, but some of them.
and
So is it really different?
No, not really. I'd say the biggest difference
So is
that
it
it
really
had
different
was
from
that
the
the
manga?
anime went
What did
out of
you
its
find?
way to make Tomoko look a
Pretty
lot
much the same
cuter.
thing.
Yeah, I heard that. So
I
how
still
does she
think
look like?
smarter.
Okay, in the
I tried to see
manga,
it, but-
she's like I guess it's just more of a stylistic choice. In the
God.
manga, she still has the eye bags, and I will give the anime that they put a lot more effort into giving her some bad eye bags.
That was the
Yeah,
was like
bad
the
baggy
turn-off
eyes.
point
Yeah,
for
like
me.
they went pretty far with that. But she just had a rounder face, and overall, like, she looked softer and cuter. In the manga, she had a very sharp chin, and her mouth was like in a constant state of like an upside down crescent. Like she was always sad.
Yeah,
like,
she was
her
always
mouth was
fucking
always
sad.
open, and she was always frowning, no matter what point in time. However, in the anime, she had that typical, moe, frowny face thing that doesn't really count as being sad, just having a standard face. So yeah, I mean that was the main difference. Another thing with the manga was that it made her look like, I guess, more unhygienic, despite the fact that she was constantly showering.
Yeah.
And like the anime kind of worked at that, but the manga worked with the style and everything. It was a lot more effective. Like, cause you constantly kept thinking like she must smell, or she doesn't shower all the time. But like every chapter she's showering, so.
So, like,
every day she's
Every
naked.
every
so
day.
like if you
There
touch her, she's like sticky.
That's what it would feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the manga made it seem like. That she would be like really like like very unhygienic.
There was a couple of episodes to where I remember she mentioned that she hadn't showered or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
And she was like binging on something. I don't know, with her,
The
her
most
sexy
interesting
BMs
show.
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
her boy love behind.
Yeah, they're towards the end too. That they like really made a point to where like some guy passed by. And he was
Oh, and they
just
said she
like,
smelled like they said she
smells
smelled like
love.
like an
It
old
smells like,
person.
it smells like a fucking old woman or a dead body.
Yeah.
Like,
It smells like grandpa.
it smelled like grandpa.
Let's edit that out.
Like another thing that I thought was pretty interesting, because I didn't know about it until you brought it up in the last podcast, was how essentially A was the reason that the manga was successful at all, and
It wasn't A as in general. It was like A and V, I believe. They had like really pushed for it, and like they had like, I guess like as far as if I remember correctly, the story was that a lot of people from that board, mostly from that board, had bought up all of the like the releases of her like the tankobon releases, like where it's just like the entire thing. They'd been buying volumes, like volume after volume, and like they sold out purely because of people that bought it overseas, not from Japan, but from out of the country. Because as far as I know, Watamote was not doing spectacular in its own country, and so most of its support came from there. And the studio that picked it up decided, well, I mean, they're popular enough over there, so let's
fuck
go.
it.
Yeah, fuck it, let's make an anime. And so it was a short.
yeah,
anime,
it was a short
12
anime. It wasn't the
episodes.
biggest risk.
It wasn't the biggest, but
But-
still the fact that they decided to do that because of Western interest was really nice, because that usually doesn't happen.
Did y'all see the OVA?
I actually
I
did not see the
I didn't
OVA.
even know there was an OVA.
Yeah.
I had no idea there was an
There
OVA.
was like 12 episodes, and then I saw on the list it was like the
What?
13th is
The
an OVA, and I was
13th
like,
is an
oh
OVA.
okay, and I watched it. And
I hadn't seen that. What was
Huh.
it?
it was basically the episode was sort of making fun of Evangelion.
Oh, okay.
Like they're just like doing the whole instrumentality of like, oh, we need to make a second season. Yeah, I love it.
like
They're like,
that.
we need to make a second season. We need to make a gay boyfriend for my brother, and start- but like it switches, like it's like the first I think 5 or 10 minutes that it does that, and then it switches to the viewpoint of like a middle schooler when they were younger, and a middle schooler like how he met her and all that stuff, and then it
Oh,
switches to the viewpoint of how she saw it and how it really
How it
happened.
actually happened, yeah.
And that was the whole episode.
Well, I mean,
That's
that's the
pretty
case
cool.
for a lot of the time for people that go through that kind of thing. Like, they see it as one way and everyone else saw it as the other.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that was kind of like her thing, because I guess like the point that the manga and the anime show is that a lot of her problems were her own. Like, she caused a lot of the shit for herself,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
took things the wrong way.
God, she's such a piece of shit. I love her.
Like, she's a
Like
terrible
such a
person.
conceited
Yeah.
sack of
She's a
crap.
horrible person, and like I would still feel bad at times, but you also have to like realize that she did a lot of the things to herself. And again, that's something I can relate to. I was
Because
a very
she's just like
conceited
me.
asshole when I was younger. I always thought, oh well, I'm better than them and stuff like that. And so yeah, eventually you grow out of that, and just like her, you look back at it and you're like, God damn, I was terrible.
There was like some points to where I was just like what the fuck is wrong with her? Is she like autistic or something?
You'd think that like.
She'd have trouble with like some of the most basic stuff, like saying bye to her professor or something leaving.
Oh,
the
where she would
school
have
or
to
whatever,
like
the
face
coach.
him and like slowly slide out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of
And-
my favorite parts is where it's raining and she thinks somebody stole her umbrella, and she immediately starts freaking out and she gets angry and she's like, "I'm going to kill them." You see, that's the thing. Like I used to do that. Like I still do that sometimes. I get angry and I jump to conclusions immediately and I get really pissed off and I'm like, "Oh, there it is."
Oh,
The fucking oh.
That whole episode is great though, because then it follows into her running in the rain, and then she ends up underneath that little stop with those two other guys, and she like tries to come up with something to say. She starts blurting out
Oh
the
my
stupidest.
God,
Yeah.
And it was terrible.
What
I'm
is
gonna
this?
take
A basketball anime?
I'll take a massive
I
dog.
gotta go take a massive shit. And so, like, it was funny because that also makes me think of something I did in 6th grade.
You took a massive
No, you see, we were in homeroom at the 6th grade, and I was just sitting there, and I don't know what came over me, but I decided to try and talk to these two girls that were, like, having a conversation, so I decided to insert myself into this. And back then, I was in, like, the gifted and talented program and stuff. It's just, I didn't really talk to anybody. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll try talking to these people. So what happened was they were discussing, I forgot what it was, but... Oh, no, I remember. They were discussing their periods, and you see...
I have a period.
You see, a lot of... Okay, yes, okay, hold on.
I can
You see,
relate.
A lot of things, they escaped me when I was younger. And a lot of them were involving, like, sex and stuff like that. And one of them was, you see, I misinterpreted period as puberty. So when they were discussing, oh, yeah, you know, something about period, I don't know why they were talking about that to begin with. But I injected myself into the conversation, and I was like, oh, yeah, I just went through my period as well. And I was going on with it, and they were just staring at me the whole time, like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? And I was just there, like, just talking about, like,
It was a different time, Mike. It's not like today where you can just tell everybody you have a period
and
everybody accepts it.
Like, I never really understood, like, I never picked up on the fact that they were staring at me like I was retarded or anything. And then years later, it came back to haunt me when that memory came back, and I'm like, God damn, I wish I could just die.
kill myself.
Just die.
I wish I really could have a period.
Oh, that was a horrible time. I'm glad nobody remembers that.
Like something that struck me as kind of odd was that Silverlink did this anime, and you know I don't really follow a lot of anime studios or what they make as much as say other people. But from what I had heard before was that Silverlink makes like a bunch of like cutesy and like jokey anime and stuff, and I like.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
this
Silverlink.
was-
I mean, I'll always like
this
them for the
cute,
fact that they did
cute
Excel
film.
World, and I
Yeah,
love
they
Excel World.
did Bakken Test, Kokoro Connect, Excel World.
Oh, Kokoro Connect was good.
Fate,
Oh, really?
Mark just watched
Caveat
that.
Lenient.
What? This is so different.
And they did a bunch of other shit that you know some of it I've seen and I'm like, well, this is completely different than most of that.
Yeah,
in a way, but
I mean, you could tell it was them even without realizing what it was to look it up because of the art style, because they add that whole cutesy art style to it and stuff. But yeah, I mean, they do a lot of joke stuff, but I really did like them doing Excel World and stuff. They made everything look nice and shiny and everything. So I enjoyed it. Regardless of the studio, I would have still watched it. I'm glad that they inserted as much from the manga as they could, and it was nice. I mean, I'd have enjoyed it if it was a little bit longer, but I was fine with 12. I
Yeah,
honestly never
sure.
expected that thing to even get an anime to begin with. I was pretty surprised when they had announced that they were actually going to make it.
I think 12 was definitely like the sweet spot for this one though, because I feel like if it would have gone any longer, it would have really dragged on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the ending was nice. I like that. I love that she looked back on everything and she was like, God damn. And again, that drives home the point with her regretting everything in the past when she calls her friend and asks her about her plans for the future, and then she decides to bring up what
Being
she
an
used to
arms
talk
dealer
about
and shit.
about being how Tomoko wanted to be an arms dealer, and she kept saying the stupidest shit, and it's like, yeah, I mean, you say a lot of stupid shit as a kid and you want to regret it, and it's good if nobody remembers, but you always will, so it'll always haunt you.
The scars.
I want to make dildos when I grow up. That's what I said in 6th grade. I'd get the Star Crunch bars and I'd just like form them into little dicks, and I'd just jokingly tell some guy that used to live around where me and Mark lived, or where Mark lived. I'd just be like, oh yeah, dude, when I grow up I'm gonna fucking make dildos. Look at how good I am at making dicks with these Star Crunch. I completely forgot about it until I was like 22, 23, and I met him again because he hung out with a mutual friend of him and ours named Mark, and like he was like, "Hey, do you remember me?" And I was
Oh,
like, "Oh
shit,
shit, Robert, what the
fuck.
fuck are you doing? What happened? You're not fat anymore. You're all buff and shit." And he's like, "Yeah, dude." Blah blah. We started getting into it, and he's like, "Man, so are you still making like dicks?" I was like, "Oh fuck."
Nah, man, I moved up.
I'm working for Bad
I'm
Dragon
using
now.
polyurethane.
I'm working for Bad Dragon now. I went legit, guys.
I made the mold myself. You know, I thought you just kind of, you know, put the wax around your dick, and it left a few scars, but that's fine.
The lesser known fact is that Nooney was the lead designer for the Minion special for the Bad Dragon dildo.
The thing.
Yes,
Okay.
it was.
So after I finished watching this, like the first time around, when it first came out during whatever season it came out in, I decided to go, you know, go further. I was like, man, I really like this. I wonder how the manga is, and it doesn't go like at that point. The manga hadn't very much progressed any further with her current self. It just kind of went to like a little bit beyond the point where the anime stopped, and then it reverted back to when she was in like middle school and just her like fun adventures that she had there.
Yeah, as far as I know, I mean, I kind of kept up to the point where it goes through that, and then she goes on the school trip finally, and she actually does make like a frenemy because they're just as bad as her, but they refuse to admit it, and so it becomes like a competition for
Is it
degradation.
that like that red hair or
It's a girl with the glasses.
Okay, I remember her.
Yeah.
Where they're like, no, you're the most fucking unpopular piece of shit.
Yeah,
and-
because they're both terrible people. And that's how you meet friends in high school. You meet people who are equally as trash as you, and then you just kind of stick together.
What about the popular kids, Mike?
They're equally as shit too.
They're equally as shit. You go talk to them, they talk to you about the size of their dick, and you're like, oh, well, my dick's this big, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Piece of shit. Fucking faggot.
Everyone hates each other,
Mm-hmm.
but not as much as themselves.
The only people that I could make friends with back in the day were fucking cholos, and it was just because I was constantly around them. And then they figured out that I was smart, and they would fucking start asking me for answers. And eventually, like I started sabotaging them just because I was like, man, fuck these guys, they're not my friends.
I used to do the same thing. Like in high school, I didn't really talk to that many people. I think like mostly just our group, and then like Frankie. And in math class, a lot of people would copy my work, despite math being the worst subject because I always fell asleep. So what I would do is during tests, I would use a pencil to like circle answers, and then people would be like, "Oh, well, let me see." I'm like, "Okay," and then I would erase them and then go over it again with the correct ones. And I was like, "All right." And I did that for a lot of classes, and eventually, when they started failing, they just left me alone. I was like, "There you go."
Is that why I failed?
There you go.
Is that why I failed?
You piece of shit, man.
No, Mark, we failed English together because that teacher was
We
a
failed
bitch.
English too.
That teacher was a bitch. And I can't believe we spent like almost 6 weeks on the Scarlet Letter.
What the fuck? That piece
like
of
a
shit?
10-page book, dude.
I'll never forget the fact that she actually went and ratted me out for skipping out of her class. Or no, skipping out of another teacher's class. She's like, "Oh yeah, Michael isn't going to the history teacher's class," and then when they talk to her, she's like, "Oh, I don't really like Michael. He does everything, but he doesn't listen to me." That's basically what it came down to. I'd fall asleep in her lectures, I'd wake up, and then I'd do everything. And that was my high school. Sleeping like 4 periods out of the day, and the rest I'm just there.
I like the fact that there were multiple endings. Like ending songs.
Oh.
Because I didn't remember that at all. And like when that Hatsune Miku one came up,
That was kind of cool.
I was watching it like you guys know, I was watching it dubbed to begin with because I was like, I want to see the difference, like what happened or whatever.
I tried.
And
One try. That's
one
the keyword.
tried.
The keyword.
And when the episode came up, when they were like spying inside of the hotel, it just like I remembered it ending a different way, which I'll get into later. And then the Hatsune Miku song started, and I was like, "What? I don't remember this ending song. What the fuck?"
Yeah.
It's obviously wrong. You know what? Let me go because at that time I was watching it on
Crunchyroll?
no, not on Crunchyroll, on
Kiss?
some illegal site. And I don't even remember. But I was like, well, I have money now, so I'll just renew my Crunchyroll and fuck it. So I renewed it and I went and watched it, and I was like, no, I guess that's how it actually ends. Huh. That's weird because I remember her being on the rooftop with those guys, and then they started spying on those people.
No,
And
that was.
And then she asked, "Hey, do you guys want to do the same thing?" And I was like, "Wait a minute." That,
That's a doge.
that was a doge.
A good one. It was a good one, but I mean, it didn't happen in canon. And they weren't I think they were middle schoolers, and she was still high, and she was the high school.
Yeah,
even Juan knows.
Like I legitimately thought, like, no, they obviously ended this abruptly. I remember there was a super awkward moment where she asked them if they wanted to have sex, and then they looked at her and they were like, no, and then they ran away or something. And then I remembered, no, wait, that didn't happen. They actually had sex. That's right.
Whoops. Speaking of the dub, on both the English and the Japanese, I don't like Tomoko's voice.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I love Tomoko's voice.
It very endearing in the anime because I felt so fitting. It's scratchy and it's like
I thought it was alright in Japanese, and then I watched the dub and I was like, oh my god, this is perfect. She's such a piece of shit. She has this horrible ass voice. I love it. It fits her so well.
I loved her voice because, like I said, it felt fitting because she's an asshole, and this is fitting. This is befitting of a terrible person.
I see that it's fitting. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can understand. I think that was the
Yeah.
point of the thing. Like you don't like her. You don't sympathize with her.
I don't know, but it did change though, like, cause like she had a pretty mellow voice, like overall. But then like when she really got into it, she started like
really
doing
shrill.
that like heavy breathing shit
Yeah.
where she sounds
Yeah.
like she needs a cigarette or something like that.
I love
And then she starts talking.
It was just great how much of a spastic person she was. Like it was just I don't know. I love her character, and I don't know. She's cute in her own
God.
special way.
She's cute in my special
Yeah.
way. I love her.
She was only cute selective
No,
times.
I find her cute overall because of
I
the fact
did
that
not
she
find her
fails
cute
so
overall.
hard at trying
I
to
still
be
couldn't
a
get past the way
normal,
that she
decent
looked.
person.
And I still think she looks smelly.
I just think that she's like sort of the anime was about a background character or a loser, and they just put him in the forefront. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
But
There was
go ahead.
no, I was gonna go off topic. I mean, if you're
well,
gonna-
well, just to stay back on the dub, I think the English voice actress for Tomoko was the same voice actress for Stalking, Penny and Stalking, because it sounds like her.
Well, that's fitting too, because I mean, Stalking's supposed to sound like a
I
bitch.
didn't research, so
apparently, I also did a little bit of research. Apparently, the voice actress that did Tomoko got like an award for the first time for like whenever they held an award thing for like best dub people, and she won the first
The
award.
dubbies.
The dubbies. And apparently, she won the first award for that, and I was like, huh. That's pretty cool. I wonder what else she does, and I looked up whatever else she did, and it's understandable. I can't really see it because internet's slow, but I'll tell you later.
Well, we'll go back to that topic.
We'll go back to that topic soon. But anyway, when I was in Austin, one day like a girl walked in. She had like this greasy ass disgusting hair. It was a little bit after this anime had come out, and I just finished moving to Austin. And this girl comes in, and she was like dressed horribly. Like she had knee-high socks, but one of them was like sagging down a little bit, and the other one was just fine. And she had this ugly ass skirt. Like it looked fine, but the material it was made out of, it looked like disgusting, fleecy, like shitty
Fucking
shit.
potato sacks.
Yeah, like a potato sack. And like
Was her
overall,
hair tangled?
no, her hair was like all greasy looking and
Oh,
shit.
like
And
she hadn't washed it or something.
yeah, and she had like a bunch of eyeshadow on and shit, and I was like, holy shit. It's fucking Tomoko, and I fell in love instantly, and I told myself, I don't care what happens, I'm gonna love this girl for the rest of my life, and eventually I got to know her a little bit, not to the point of like hanging out anywhere outside of work, but to the point where she came in one day, and she we were talking for a bit, and then she was like, oh yeah, dude, my boyfriend fucking loves you. Every single time he talks to you, he's always like, oh, that guy's so fucking cool and blah blah. And then one day, like I saw them come in together, and I was like, how is this? I was this like eloquent blonde man with this fucking trash.
It's because he has similar taste to us.
She's gonna listen to this podcast.
She's gonna listen to this podcast.
It's probably because he had the same
With her
mindset.
boyfriend.
With
He's
her
like, you know
boyfriend.
what? I can do better.
I mean, he probably just has the same taste or mindset as you in that sense.
And that I loved her.
And then you
and
fell
that
in love
I-
instantly.
Trashy
And
taste.
I wish that
Because
she
you know
was,
trash attracts trash, and you know that's how it goes. Right, Mark?
right, Mark. Does trash attract trash?
Trash
God damn it, Mark.
attracts.
If she's in the room, you can leave, Mark. It's okay.
Yeah, I can't say inappropriate.
Mark is being held at gunpoint, so he can't say anything bad. So.
Yeah, wait. Where do you have your computer set up, actually, Mark?
I just have it in the living room.
The best.
That's
place
the
to have
best
it.
place to have it.
Where everyone can hear you, Fap.
I love my girlfriend.
We know you do. Yes.
Tell us more about how much you love your cats, Mark.
They're furry, and I can touch them.
Anyway,
Well, you heard it here first. Mark likes furries.
Mark likes furries.
Mark
loves furry dick.
He loves furry. He's
He's
been
all
a
about that
member of the
pussy.
furry community for about 10 years now. We've tried to support him as best we could, but
I mean,
there's just some times where we just can't be seen with him. Like,
Just
last
listen to him.
last convention we went to, he was in a fursuit, and we had to say that he was some stranger following us. It just wasn't working out.
I mean, it's hard to find people with my demographic who like squirrel bird hybrids. It's just
Mark is a
particular
trendsetter.
taste.
Mark is a translator. So back to this to the voice actress. Apparently, she's been in a lot of shit as far as dubbing goes. She's been
Does
in,
she work for Funimation?
I don't think Funimation did it because I have the Funimation account and she's
Yeah, it'd be Crunchyroll was Watamote, so
Yeah.
no
But,
Funimation this time.
Whatever isn't Sentai Filmworks and Funimation is what I'm assuming she works for because she's been in Bakano, she's been in Basilisk, she was in Claymore, Death Parade,
What
Desert
does she
Punk.
do in Death Parade?
In the dub, she does a Misaki Tachibana.
The main character?
Is that the main character? Is that who is this, Mike?
In Death Parade, that was one of the people that came out towards the end. She was a whore single mother that could not raise her children
Oh.
correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really rooting for her to die. And boy did she. Boy did she.
Way to ruin the anime.
It's okay, Nuni. You'll watch it again anyways. It was
Again,
great.
I never watched it to begin with.
You'll
but
watch it, Nuni.
It's on this list.
It's an amazing show.
I hope it is.
A great opening, and it introduced me to one of my favorite bands, Bradio. They're really good.
She was also in Full Metal Alchemist as Lyra. There was actually a character that she played that I recognized, but the one from Desert Punk. Who
Really? Who in Desert Punk was she?
Wakame? Hold on.
It's been years since I've seen Desert Punk.
This Chinese girl.
Wasn't there just like one girl in that anime?
I don't even remember that character in
I
Desert
don't-
Punk. She
I
must have
don't
been
think
so
so.
minor that I don't remember.
She was worthless.
Probably. I mean,
Just, skipping ahead, there were also a bunch of, you know how the anime in general had a bunch of fucking references.
yeah.
But I kept seeing like Nozaki-kun in every single website that she went to, and I was just like, why is Nozaki-kun keep popping up, or something that looks like it? And it wasn't until I read that I saw that they came out, like both mangas came out at around the same time, and they were also both on Gan Online.
What
Which
was
is-
Nozaki-kun?
Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun.
Oh,
Monthly
okay,
Girls.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a typical topic. It's a typical tactic for like mangas or light novels to advertise each other. Like I remember in Durarara, they constantly had like light novels on the billboards or the two characters, the two light novel lovers. They were always talking about different manga, and it was funny because the first time I read it or I watched Durarara, I had just that was like the point where I just barely started really getting into anime. So I didn't understand a single book that they would reference. Years later, like all the books that they talked about, I was like, oh, okay, I know all of these.
I know what this is.
I know what these are. What's a shame is that they would shill Mahoka, because that's a terrible anime. And a light novel. I don't wish that upon anybody.
What's Mahoka?
What is
It's in our roulette, so you'll see eventually.
All right.
Is it
I
the
feel like I've
Magical High
Magical
School?
High School.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Ah,
I saw that
you're
one.
gonna love that one, Ninny.
I love magic.
I
It
tried watching
takes high school, magical adventure, and then dials it to like 14.
and then technology.
And then technology with like info dumps that don't
Yeah.
mean anything at
Like,
all.
I'm like, this
and you're
doesn't
just
make
sitting there
sense.
like none of this makes any sense at all. It's like talking about fucking like the theory of relativity and mixing it with like fucking the Wizard of Oz. And you're just like, well, I guess that's supposed to make sense. And for some reason, the Nipponese love that shit. So,
The fucking Nipponese.
yeah. So there's that. But yeah, look forward to that one.
What the
Mhm.
fuck?
How do you guys feel about how do you feel about the ending? Like,
Sort of didn't get it, but it's like it's resolved. We know that she's a loser. You can't
I mean,
go.
that was the whole
You can't
point,
go
though.
farther than that.
That
so.
was the whole point of the thing, though. It's like she's never really going to suddenly jut into popularity. Like that was that's the whole point of the manga. Really,
Yeah.
it's like she's never going to achieve what she wants because she's a terrible person, and until she changes that, she will never actually achieve. And like as the story's been progressing, I guess she's kind of learning to be like I guess a bit more social, even if it's with people who are
Yeah.
equally as terrible as her. However, that's a big step from where she is currently as far as the anime stop, because it's like it's all about learning to be at least a little bit sociable
Yeah.
and like not being such a complete asshole.
Yeah, and then the ending makes a point is like we just follow this character that's very trivial.
then here's a story about nobody.
Yeah.
Essentially,
basically.
Yeah, and then the girl's laughing. She's like, I don't
Like-
care.
This I like how she looks up the definition of unpopular girl again,
Yeah.
and she's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny that when she had a mental breakdown, her best friend, Big Tits McGee, was
Big
just like
Tits
chasing
McGee.
her. Like you see her boobs
Fucking-
just like flapping around everywhere, and then she's just like,
Fucking
she's
generic
like,
anime
and then she's
girl
like,
number one.
ooh, a kitty cat.
She just stops scary.
Well, it's because she's supposed to be like, I mean, like you said, it's about background characters. Like
Yeah.
all of these characters are mundane. Even her best friend.
Yeah.
Her best friend's an airhead and an idiot. That's just how she is. I mean, it shows. She was in middle school. She was like quiet and she didn't dress. But she learned the trick though. She learned to dress properly and to like have proper
grow her
hygiene.
boobs.
And grow her boobs.
Well, no, not just,
The-
I guess
the most
show them
important
off,
trait.
really. I guess it was really just to show them off and stop looking so homely.
Yeah.
And it worked out for her. She played her strengths.
Mhm.
And it's the same should go for Tomoko, but it's like Tomoko lacks any and all understanding of social cues.
Mhm.
So in that
Yeah.
sense, like I mean, like I said, all the problems that she has are mostly her fault because
Yeah.
of misconceptions or because she's just a plain asshole.
And I like this how there was like a very slight progression in the anime, and then it got to the point like at the near very end where she was gonna say hi to fucking standard president girl, whatever she was,
Yeah.
Most popular kid in
most
school.
popular kid in school, and she was about to say hi, and then the wind blows her skirt up, and she's just like, what the fuck do I do? And she just has that mental breakdown, and I'm just like, all right, yeah, at least she made a little bit of progress. But I guess now she just
tried.
reverted. Yeah,
She tried.
She tried her damn best.
She didn't fall back on she tried her hardest.
I think it was like a little weird how she had like these points of like where she's contemplating like bisexuality, like, where she was hanging out with her friend and she's like, oh my god, her hug, it was so magical. I wonder if I can get her to hug me again. But is it weird for me to ask her to hug me?
And
Well,
she's
I
like,
mean,
I'm gonna
like-
cup a feel.
Like a reoccurring joke, like throughout the anime and the manga as well, is that like she seems to have some sort of like attraction
Something.
to her friend,
Mhm.
and girls in general, but mostly her friend. And like it's just like a reoccurring thing. It happens like a lot. So it's like I mean I don't know if it's like true bisexuality or just the fact that she just likes her friend's body. Because I mean, she's got big flappy tits.
She's got big flappy tits.
big
And,
honking
and
tits.
if she were her boyfriend, she'd totally have a boner all the time.
To be honest, initially, like at the very end scene where the skirt scene happens and then she just starts running, I was like, is she gonna go home to masturbate?
That's what I would do.
That's the
And that's the point where you're self-inserting.
Mental picture. I gotta go.
I gotta go.
But towards the
Before
beginning
I
of the
forget.
series, she also does that. Like she actually tries to look up a girl's skirt.
Yeah,
they're
like
going upstairs.
whenever they're going up the stairs, and
yeah.
like she's about to, and then she's like, "No, what am I, some kind of fucking
Hey,
bitch?"
Hey, there was a reason for that. She wanted to look at the panties.
Obviously,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, she's just, you know.
She wanted to see what other girls
Yeah,
were
what
wearing.
do other girls wear?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious
that's
about
what
that
I do. I
also.
think I
Yeah,
got
but the thing is, we're,
I'm curious as to like what panties she was wearing normally. Like they didn't really
I'm sure just like
explain
mundane, regular ass panties that you see at Walmart or
yeah,
like.
typical
that. I mean,
white.
Yeah,
some of
sure,
those aren't
that.
that bad.
It
Well,
always,
I passed by
it
them.
always depends on the person themselves.
By the mannequins.
It always depends on the person that's, you know, wearing them themselves that
Mm.
makes it attractive or not. So, I mean, it falls down to that.
Yeah.
Oh, that fucking disgusting duck face pigtail.
Oh, God.
I was actually thinking that right now. Like when you said that you saw that girl with like the
Yeah.
unkempt hair and everything,
Yeah,
I was like, was she wearing the stringy thingies like
No.
to mess with her hair, the braids?
She just
and
had her
everything?
hair like loose and just fine.
I couldn't stop laughing at that whole thing though when she tried to give herself a makeover and she messed up like
Oh my
terribly. She
God.
had the duck face and.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
what did her brother say too? Didn't he like just like completely shut her down?
She asked if she was beautiful or something along those lines, and he's just like, no.
No,
Like,
he
it's
says,
disgusting.
he says
like,
you're average.
Yeah, there you go.
Average.
You're
What-
average.
What's average?
Is it
Is it
above
like-
average or is it below average? What's average to
You know, I really liked her brother because like
He put up with all her
he
shit.
put up with so much shit, but at the same time, he's also a terrible person.
Yeah.
But he keeps it on the inside.
I
Yeah.
felt so bad for him though. Like it seems like he's always like dealing with her stupid nonsense. Like when she's like yelling in her room and he's like trying to sleep, or he just keeps going into his room and trying to talk to him and just leave me alone.
The thing I think about that though is it was technically his fault because of what he did as a kid when he was younger, because of the whole. I mean, that was his own embarrassing moment when they did the when they looked at the whole
marry-
movies and he's like, I want to marry my big sister and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like he brought it upon himself that he did that, but
by
then,
feeling embarrassed for that. And
yeah,
actually
but the fact
caring.
that he felt bad about that and that like you know it leads further into like being close to his sister and stuff and.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, he's equally as bad of a person. It's just that he learns to keep everything on the inside.
When I first saw his brother, I thought he was also a loser because he had bags in his eyes. just like
yeah,
her.
but it turns out he's just
Yeah.
he plays video games. On
Yeah.
that, maybe.
he's just
He plays
video
FIFA and
games
Madden and plays soccer.
and he's really good at soccer.
he's really
And
good
he's
at
really
soccer.
good at parent,
And
And
I-
you see that then again, there you go again. He played his strengths by playing soccer.
I
And
actually
he has
felt
lots
like
of friends.
I identified more with him in like the sense of like it when he was like in his room and his friends were just like sitting in there playing video games. I'm like, hey, that's relatable.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, he's as bad as she
Where's
is,
that
except
at?
like he,
Yeah,
you know,
where's the anime about her brother? I want to see what happens to him.
like it's mainly the fact that it's like he's
That-
more sociable than her, but not
Mhm.
to the point to where he's like actively involving himself in everything.
Yeah.
Like you said, like where he's laying in his bed and his friends are playing games. That's typically how like a lot of people hang out and stuff. But
Yeah.
that still shows that he's quite a bit of an introvert.
I mean, again, it's just because like she's so socially incompetent.
Yeah,
that
she's
she
so
can't even
socially
achieve
inept that she overshadows like what he does in the beginning. But yeah, like I liked her brother. Yeah, and even though like she put him through a lot of shit, every now and then he would still like try to help her out with this or that, or like when he offered for the whole, you know, when they were doing the talks where she was basically talking the entire time and he'd just sit there and take it.
and be like,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, stuff like that.
You know who took a lot of her shit? Her parents.
Her parents.
Oh,
I
man.
felt terrible for her dad with her sorry.
Her mom just
Ah.
bitch slapped her. It's like, oh, that was the best.
Or
I think-
when she walked in on her recording.
Dude, oh my god.
The headphones were unplugged.
Oh, that
No,
was
stop.
pretty good too.
The times when the mom and dad walk in on her and it's just a wide
Oh.
shot and it's just there
And-
staring
and
at
you
them.
just-
Yeah.
And then
I felt so terrible for her dad because he's like he's working all day. He's a businessman, And then he comes home and he checks on his daughter. He finds his daughter passed
Passed
out
with a hand massager
with a
turned on.
massager, which is commonly known as an improvised vibrator for women. And she has it like laying over herself, and her dad has to carry her over to her bed.
And turn off the
watching,
sex game that she
Turn
did on the
off
TV.
the eroge that she's playing. Then move the vibrator away, and then tuck her into bed.
And then just goes on with his life.
And then just goes back to sleep, goes to sleep with his wife, and moves on with his day. But he's still dealing with this child.
That was
It's
also
just-
like the only scene that we saw him in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the only
Yeah.
scene that her father shows up.
Like
in.
that.
That's all you need.
I mean, that's all you need to
That's all
know
you
that
need.
her dad is a very sympathetic character.
The mom too. She's like, just come down and eat when you're
Oh
done.
yeah, the mom too. I mean, she puts up with all of, or like with more shit than anybody,
Yeah.
really.
Mhm.
And like, okay, the times where Tomoko would just tell her what to get from the store and stuff, I'm like, damn, that's.
So overall, what would you guys say you thought about it?
I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed it. It was it was fun. I've had prior experience to it, so I was fine with watching the show. So I liked it.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. Like Mike said, it's I guess going down memory lane.
Yeah.
It's nice every once in a while to just relate to something like that and remember that you're a little piece of shit and might be coping with that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought overall it was pretty good. Definitely towards the end though, I kind of felt like it was just a little bit too much of the same, and I don't know. I was definitely like, I guess you could say like, relieved when it ended, and it was just like, oh okay, like yeah, that's it. And I feel like if they would have gone any further, it would have definitely like overextended it too much, and it would have been too much, and I would have probably not liked it afterwards. But yeah, I enjoyed what it was.
I liked it at the... Go on, Mark.
No, you were first.
No, hurry up, Mark.
Shut up, Mark. Hurry up.
Oh, what did I think about it? Well, since it wasn't a rom-com, it's already just like 2 out of 5 stars right there. I
It
don't even have
starts
to
off at
start watching it.
2.5.
Yeah. Okay.
But what about the underlying romance with her brother, Mark?
I was drawn in with that, and then I was just like, oh,
Nothing's
They
gonna
just
happen.
teased you.
This isn't Oreimo.
he didn't take her advances. And that was upsetting.
Her
But,
literal
Her literal advances. They weren't even subtle or anything. She's just outright saying shit to him.
Yeah, it was
Sister.
more like it was it was just more like a side story, like what the fuck you call that?
What do you mean?
The spin-off?
Like a spin-off?
Like a fucking arc, like a
Like a
the
backstory?
fuck do you
Flashback?
I can't think.
Have
of
you been
the name
drinking,
of it.
Mark?
Like,
You're fucking drunk.
what does that matter? It's like this. Like, okay, you have the plot. You have like this thing with a plot, but then you have an episode that has nothing to do with the plot, and it's just like this fucking
The filler.
filler. Yeah, dude. It just felt like an enormous filler to me. which is
Yeah,
like-
I can see that.
it's fun.
I can
it's
see you
fun
saying
and
that, but
shit.
like I would argue that that's mainly the point. So like if it didn't draw you in, I guess
Yeah.
that's like also understandable considering the material.
That's probably.
I think one of the
yeah.
main things was that just like she just didn't really make too much progress like overall. Like it was just basically
Yeah,
her
yeah.
making the similar mistakes over and over and over and over again. And so that's kind of one of the things too that turned me off. But yeah, I mean it was basically like if you didn't like the show up to that point, then you probably weren't gonna enjoy it throughout the whole thing because it was just more of the same.
I was curious on whether I'd enjoy it like a second time or not because I was like, well, it might be like one of those things where I've seen it once and then it loses its value afterwards because I already know what's gonna happen, and I won't cringe as hard. But no, there were still times where I found myself like pausing the video for a few seconds and I was like, God, this fucking piece of shit.
I didn't really experience like too many cringy moments. Like I think really the only
Really?
ones that I what.
Really, Mondo?
I didn't like. I
You
don't
see,
know.
Mondo didn't go through any of this. He's a normal person.
No, I definitely
He
did,
was
but like
popular.
it wasn't like it wasn't to
He
the
used
point
to
to
suck
where it's
Cholo's
like
dicks.
oh like it's making me feel secondhand embarrassment. It's just like oh like this is happening to a character in a show that I'm watching. You know, it wasn't like oh this makes me feel bad about myself.
It didn't make me feel bad about myself. It made me feel bad about her.
Yeah, I never got. I
Yeah.
didn't get secondhand embarrassment on this either, but it just reminded me of things that I did. I'm just like, why just don't think about that.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the lack of sympathy that I have for people. I just don't care.
Popular.
Mondo's popular back
Mondo
then.
I
was-
wish.
Mondo
The,
was
the,
most
only, the only
popular
people I
kid in
was
school.
popular with were the fucking cholas.
Because you
Most
suck
likely
their
to
dicks
succeed.
and give them fucking answers with your penis.
Maybe it
You're
would
like,
been
here's
more
the
fucking-
answer, and then you gave him a facial.
Right. So, what would you score it from a 1 to 5?
1 being low, 5 being high.
No, let's do the opposite. Yeah, 1 being low,
One
5
being
being
low,
high.
5 being high.
I'll do 3.5.
3.5.
I already said 2.5, and I'm gonna leave it there. Just because of no romance. I mean, she kind of
No bromance?
No romance.
Well, it wasn't a rom-com.
Oh, there was romance. No, but she kind of tried talking to guys, I guess. So she gave some effort. So I'll give her like a 2.7.
Fucking Mark. Piece of shit.
I have to, dude. I'm waiting for that rom com. I'll rate it a 5 right away. Okay. What would you guys rate it?
As for me, I mean, it's not anywhere near like the perfect show or the best show that I've ever seen. And while I did really enjoy it, it didn't have its faults, and a lot of them fall on like the things that Mondo said or the others said. So, in all honesty, I'd give the show about a 3.7.
I fell around the same line as you. I'd give it either 3.5 or a 4 because I don't like going in between because that involves more thinking. So I'll just give it a 3.5. Let's say that.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with the 3.5. It was, like I've said multiple times, it was enjoyable for what it was, but it definitely wasn't anything spectacular.
All right. So now we're gonna pick the next anime that we're gonna watch.
Boy. I hope it's,
your
I hope
favorite,
it's
Mark.
4 seasons long.
No, I don't worry about that. I've managed the list to where what, in my opinion, is separated between, more well-known anime and then at the top, and then it dives down to like more, quote, obscure anime, and there are some that are 50 episodes and whatnot, or like 40 or something like that. But I put those like right next to each other, so just in case we do get it, let's just take a bit more time with those. Maybe watch them in the background, do them in like a month, and then pick something else.
So,
okay.
I guess before we pick, how exactly are we gonna pick it? Is it just gonna be where we randomize it and whatever it lands on, and or is it gonna be where we kind of just agree on it and make sure that we're all okay with watching it?
I wanted to discuss it with you guys. I wanted to randomize it, but since the first anime we did was, supposedly popular anime, according to a good friend, and this one was supposedly obscure, even though I feel like this was a bit more.
I think
a
it was
bit
the
more-
opposite.
I feel like this was a bit more popular than Nikki. But let's just go with it. So then the next anime that we do is a bit more well known.
I hope it's Naruto.
Oh God. Is that even on the
whole
list?
fucking
Please don't
thing.
tell me that's on the
That's
list.
not on the
Why
list.
would a show with like 400, 500 episodes? I mean, I've seen most of them, but why would it be on the list?
I don't know what the
No.
fuck you guys do with that list.
Now, I was also thinking about putting anime with like
Dragon Ball Z.
yeah, like that bullshit on the list, but separate it by season. Say, let's
The
do
Cell Saga.
You know,
The first-
Naruto
the first
episode
400
1 through
episodes.
26 or something. But we'll discuss that off camera, off a podcast or whatever. But how about we randomize it between the numbers 1 and 29.
1 and 29.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
right.
You guys ready?
All right. Nuni, do you want to
Yes,
spin the
senor.
wheel?
All right.
Spin the wheel.
Round and round it goes.
20.
20. All right, so number 20 is Angel Beats.
Oh,
Hey,
I've seen Angel Beats and I really enjoyed it.
I've never seen.
someone
Angel
told
I
me
Beats.
to
haven't
watch
seen Angel
that.
Beats.
I've never seen it.
Have you seen Angel
Oh,
Beats?
oh, I thought I was a guest.
I
haven't seen
it doesn't matter. We'll see.
I haven't seen Angel Beats.
All right.
All right.
I'm
Have you
down.
seen it,
I'm
Mark?
gonna watch that. Yeah.
You seen it? Yeah.
Mark loves rom-coms.
Mark loves
Wait,
rom-
Love. Oh man.
This isn't really
I love this
that much of.
I don't even know what Angel Beats
Yeah,
is.
It's
if Mark likes it, it's obviously a rom com.
It's a
Otherwise, it's gonna get a 2.5.
it's an anime marketing by Dr. Dre.
It's not romantic.
It's an anime
comedy,
marketed by
drama,
Dr.
action.
Dre.
Angel.
God.
It's the top tier of beats. Top tier.
All right. So again, if you guys want to take a look at the list, I'll have it posted on the description in the in the podcast description. If you want to send us an email, you could send it to mbtpodcast@gmail.com. This was episode 2. Hopefully, it'll keep going. We'll see what happens next. If you have any suggestions or whatever, feel free to email it. And guess I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
I'm still getting paid, right?
No.
You're never getting paid.
Mark.
You get paid. Out of anyone that would get paid. you
Mark,
get
I
paid
will
the
pay you
least.
in this Reese's peanut butter cups packet that I have.
All right, play that one.
I'll eat that. All right.
Goodbye, Mark.
Bye bye, Mark.
Bye bye.